Hello everyone, in the previous class, we discussed the design patterns for app navigation and you all made modifications and improvements to your primary pages. In this class, we will focus on the design of app subpages.
Subpage designs are usually either in a list format or card format to facilitate better browsing for users. When entering a subpage in the app, the top row contains the action bar, the application icon, including the back button on the far left, which takes the user back to the home page. The middle section mainly considers colors that coordinate with the app, and on the far right are the available operations in the current context. Of course, this is just a basic layout, and you should adjust it according to the content of the page. Below, we have some examples of subpages designed in a list format. If you find any of them helpful, feel free to take screenshots for reference. Subpages can also be designed in a card format. Card-based designs group similar content together, making the overall layout clear and user-friendly, providing a deep and satisfying experience. Card-based design can be full width or half width. Format design depends on the design requirements. It is important to distinguish the primary and secondary content of the cards. Before designing, you need to clarify what the focus is. For example, if you want to showcase images, make them larger and use text and icons as auxiliary elements, just like the card design. The two examples below follow a similar approach. If you want to emphasize the title, you don't need to make the images too large. However, if there are functional buttons within the card, such as a follow button, you should place the images and text proportionally and highlight the functional button. But keep in mind, when there are multiple elements within a card, they need to be arranged and distributed properly, or else the layout can look messy and won't highlight the advantages of the card-based design. Here is a small tip. If you want to improve the layout of the page when there is limited content, you can use some color blocks or abstractly simulate real objects, such as movie tickets, book pages, coupons, or notes, to make the interface more user-friendly and reduce the feeling of emptiness. This method can change the visual perception of the page, mainly by altering the color tones and textures, but it cannot change the proportion of reading content. So this aspect should be noted. You can see in this image an example of using elements resembling notes or tickets to improve the layout of the page, making it organized, while adding some interesting elements.
Below are some examples of adding color blocks.
The image uses different shaped color blocks to create a more cohesive layout. Imagine the image on the right without the three color blocks. If there were only icons and text, the whole page would appear disorganized. Adding these three color blocks makes the page look more stable. Similarly, with the other two images, the one on the left has scattered information, and without color blocks, the page would look empty. Adding color blocks makes it look fuller. The page on the right uses various shades of color blocks such as circles, ellipses, and squares. Some are designed as card-like elements, making the page look more substantial without appearing rigid. These are some places where you can learn and draw inspiration from.
Let's talk about the use of color in UI design.
Different colors evoke different feelings in people. In UI interface design, colors are generally divided into primary colors, secondary colors, and accent colors. The proportions for color combinations are usually set around 20% to 30% and 5% to 10% respectively. By using different proportions, the interface can avoid being abrupt or lacking a clear hierarchy. First, let's talk about the primary color in an app. The primary color is the most frequently seen color besides the background. It represents the app's identity. In UI design, the primary color is mainly used in navigation bars, status bars, and tag bars, but it generally does not cover a large area, only about 20% to 30% of the page. By looking at some examples, it is easy to identify the primary color, which helps create a clear and pleasing overall presentation. The primary color can also be a gradient. As shown in the two following examples, however, using gradient colors places higher demands on designers. The gradient should not make the entire page appear too flashy. A clean and neat design can be achieved by using gradients in important areas and extracting individual colors from the gradient for other sections, avoiding excessive use of gradients throughout the page. Next, let's discuss the secondary color. It is used to complement the primary color and adjust various states, such as pressed states for icons, or combinations with the primary color. Finally, there is the accent color, which acts as an auxiliary color in the app. It is used to enrich the interface. Accent colors are typically applied in category navigation icons, setting icons, message notifications, often red, and text. They account for about 5% to 10% of the overall color usage. In addition to the primary, secondary, and accent color approach, you can also use color schemes within the same color family, consistent hue with different saturation levels. As shown in the image on the right, the primary and accent colors are consistent in hue, giving users a sense of consistency. If you are unsure of color choices, you can also select a photo with unified hues and extract adjacent colors from it. The adjacent colors must have consistent hues, such as belonging to the same muted color scheme or bright color scheme. This image demonstrates the combination of adjacent colors and accent colors. Usually, to make the page more vivid and prominent, vibrant colors are often used. However, they should not be overly saturated or pure, as these colors can be too eye-catching. Therefore, when designing, it is important to achieve a soft and non-stimulating appearance. When using color, you can incorporate transparency to create transitions between colors. Additionally, overlaying and using soft light modes can adjust the blending of multiple colors, making the page appear more coordinated. When using color, it is essential to consider the contrast between content elements to ensure sufficient legibility. Lastly, the colors of images on the page should also align with the overall style of the interface.
That concludes today's lesson on the use of color in UI design. I hope you digest the content carefully and continue to refine your UI design. Here are some tasks.
1. Fine-tune the layout of all subpages, utilizing card style and list style formats. Flexibility. 2. Choose a color scheme to color all pages, following the 60% rule. Primary color, secondary color, accent color, adjacent colors, same color family plus accent color. 3. Adjust the clarity, size, weight, and font of the text, keeping contrast in mind.